want to talk about narcissistic parents when they realize you refuse to be controlled. That's a dangerous and challenging time if you have a narcissistic parent, because at that point they begin to realize they are losing control and their power, influence, authority is going to be threatened. If not being threatened, is going to be threatened by your changes. And when this occurs, then the narcissist and the narcissistic parent will use all the systems moves they can. And if you'll notice, when I give you these categories, and I have a number of them I want to share with you, then I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and what you should begin to work on in light of this common pattern that occurs, that they are going to use these systems moves because all of them are systems related, meaning they are done so that the system will get you back into place. They'll get your puzzle piece of you back into the puzzle where it belongs and where it fits, at least according to them, and at least the way it feels for the family super self, I call it, the way you are supposed to be in the family. Number one, if they begin to realize you're refusing to be controlled, they're going to increase manipulation. And that's where I see them shuffling the deck. In other words, they're going to push and pull and move and shift and do all these kinds of things to get you back into your place in the puzzle. That includes guilt tripping, shaming, blaming, using emotional blackmail. And again, all of those are systems moves. They're moves to adjust the system and the way it's functioning with you in it. Secondly, rage and aggression. When they realize, oh, I may be losing control, or they're not respecting me like I think they should, or they are trying to become more autonomous or independent. Oh my, now we're going to have some real threats, attempts to intimidate, and basically they turn into a toddler wanting their way. So they just turn into toddler tantrums at this point to hope get you back to where you were and get you back under their control because they don't like their control being challenged. Number three, they will play the victim. And playing a victim is a systems role. It's a family systems role, being a victim. And the narcissistic parent will portray themselves as the victim, seeking sympathy from others. And this can involve spreading false narratives about you to friends or family or colleagues and painting you as ungrateful or abusive. And again, they're going to play the victim, borrowing self by lying about you. And they're going to suck the self right out of you by doing these kinds of playing the victim roles. Fourthly, love bombing. Many of you know what love bombing is, some may not. And that's where instead of turning on the anger and aggression, I turn on all the positive and also often fake positive feelings, emotions, giving, altruism, all those things that they have mirrored from others to love bomb you. I'll try to win you back then. I'll pay for you being a part, coming back to your role because it'll be much nicer for you. And some even literally pay for their kids to come back. I'll buy you a house. I'll buy you a car. I'll pay off your car. I'll pay off that debt. This tactic is to lull you back into a sense of dependency and compliance. The next one, silent treatment. Many know about the silent treatment. And the silent treatment is a systems move. It's a move to impact the relationship system. Narcissist parents might give you the silent treatment to punish you, and to punish you for your defiance. This is intended to make you feel isolated and guilty, hoping you will return to seek their approval. What I tell people to do, if you know that's the pattern that often happens, then plan a silent treatment getaway. Plan to go have some fun during the silent treatment phase. You already know it would happen. You already plan on that. Go have a good time or go do something positive. Don't feel isolated, and you worrying and obsessing about the narcissistic parent and them not contacting you. Because again, worry, obsession about that is a form of pursuit. They want you to pursue them. And if I want someone to pursue me, I'll stop pursuing them. Then that pulls on the system for them to pursue me in an unhealthy and non-self-differentiated system. So they will pull me back into obsess about them and to feel guilty. So go have fun. Go plan a silent treatment getaway. Some have planned vacations. They know mom's going to be totally upset or dad's going to be totally upset. They're going to just not call, not talk. Fine, we're going on vacation. And don't worry about it and let the time pass. Another way in which they will respond to you when they feel that you are refusing to be controlled, they will undermine your autonomy. Any way they can undermine your relationships, your career, other aspects of your life, anything that has to do with autonomy, because you want to gain self-differentiation and independence. And when we try to do that, that does not make the narcissistic parent happy. They want you to be glued to them, not autonomous, not separate in terms of a separate self or a mature self. Another approach they will use is triangulating. And we all know about triangulating, which we talked a little bit about that up above, but triangulation and smear campaigns. Smear campaigns are just great big triangulation messes where flying monkeys are involved. They send people out to go tell things. Narcissistic parents may involve other family members. It may involve your own family members. And it tries to create conflict and turn others against you to pressure you back into submission. This creates confusion and conflict within your close support network. That's why it's so insidious. And that's why it can be kind of powerful, because you got all these people who once thought well of you, say an extended family. Now they all look at you with a raised eyebrow because a narcissistic parent has sent out lies and other distortions about you to everyone. And the others have come to believe them. Again, sadly, to their own peril, because whenever you believe lies, you have lost your autonomy and you're involved in a way you shouldn't be involved. And generally that ends up in a not good situation. Another approach they will use is exploiting weaknesses. And again, narcissistic parents may know where all your bodies are buried, may know all your skeletons in the closet, and they will pull all those out to point to those skeletons, your mistakes, your insecurities, your fears, to undermine that self-confidence and undermine your self-esteem. Denial and minimization. Again, they will just simply gaslight their own responsibilities and will gaslight around accountability. No, I didn't do that. I never did that. That isn't what I was planning. That isn't what I meant. They minimize your grievances and your complaints. They deny them over and over again. They distort them. They deflect from them. And then in the hopes that we begin to question our own sense of reality. In other words, we so want to share their reality that we'll forget about ours. And they will use that in a way to try to get us back under control. And then lastly, there's false apologies. And you've probably been aware of those. That's where narcissistic parents offer an insincere apology or promise. And the promises to change. These are often temporary measures to regain control rather than a genuine effort to improve the relationship. And they'll feel they bent over backwards because they apologized to you. though it was a half-hearted or fake apology, they take it as they might as well get a Nobel Peace Prize for it. So what are some tips? All of these tools and strategies that I'm going to mention and some of the ideas I mentioned above are part of the Road to Self program, where you can learn how to self-differentiate and finally heal from the dysfunctional family that you have. And if you need help with any of these, stop wasting your time and join the program today. One tip, expect and prepare for these manipulations. Don't let them come and you don't have a strategy. I'm telling you, they're all going to come. What plans do you have when they come? If you have no idea what to do, then you do need to join the program. Otherwise, you can think, just as I've mentioned, if you know they're going to do silent treatment, don't sit in silence. Go live your life. Go have some fun. Go plan for that so that you can get away and forget about the silent treatment, leaving it less powerful. It has a less of an impact on you. Stay self-focused, not other-focused. Focus on you, your own health, your own maturity, your own self-differentiation, not become all up in their inner dialogue. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they talking about with other people? Stay out of their lives in that way. Stay out of their emotional lives. Stay focused on you. Don't try to change them. Change your inner boundaries in terms of detachment. You're not the one causing the problems. The system is causing your problems, the unhealthy system. And it's the unhealthy system that keeps playing out over and over again in the family. Learn inner detachment, which then allows you to have a good foundation for external boundaries. And that's what I call inner boundaries and outer boundaries. Hey, I want to thank you very much for listening today. Please subscribe, please join, and comment on the videos. Thank you for being here today. Have a great day, and be wise.
The audacity it takes to stand apart, to sever the bonds that keep you tethered to their approval. They want you to fall in line, to be just like them, desperate for a nod, a smile, a fleeting bit of validation. They cling to the idea of being liked as if it were the air they breathe, terrified of the mere thought of being shunned. But to rise above all that, to have the courage to be disliked, that's a different kind of power altogether. It's the act of defying the unspoken rules, of saying no to the charade of fitting in. When you embrace that disdain, you strip away their power over you, leaving them scrambling to understand how you've escaped their game. They'll call it arrogance. They'll label you a villain, a threat to their precious equilibrium. They want you to need them, to crave their approval, like some addict craving a fix. But when you step into the shadows, when you let their opinions fall away like dead leaves, it shakes them to their core. They don't understand how someone can walk away from the crowd without looking back. It's because they've never tasted that kind of freedom. They've never understood that to be truly free is to be unbound by the need to be liked. It's a liberation they fear, a path they would never dare walk. Imagine their confusion, their shock, when they realize their words, their judgments, hold no sway over you, that you're not moved by their whispers or rattled by their disdain. You exist outside of their narrative, a wild card they can't predict. They want to mold you, to make you conform to their standards, their expectations. But you've severed that thread. You've chosen to walk in the shadows, where their light of approval doesn't reach. And in doing so, you've claimed a power they'll never know. The courage to be disliked is the courage to live for something greater, than their fleeting applause. They'll resent you for it. They'll twist your actions, your words, painting you as the villain in their story. But what they fail to grasp is that their dislike is a badge of honor, a sign that you've transcended their petty games. To be disliked is to be free from their grip, to refuse to dance to their tune. And in that refusal, you become something they both fear and envy. You've become untouchable. They live their lives shackled by the need to be seen a certain way, to be accepted. But you've cut those chains. You've chosen to stand alone, and in that solitude, you've found strength. To have the courage to be disliked is to embrace your own path without hesitation, without the need to explain or justify. It's the ultimate act of defiance against a world that thrives on conformity. They'll try to bring you back, to reel you into their circle with guilt, with manipulation. But that's where they falter. They don't realize that the moment you decided to be disliked was the moment you became truly free. They are prisoners to the court of public opinion, while you walk as a sovereign of your own existence. They thrive on the game of faces, of masks worn to appease. But when you strip off the mask, when you let them see you as you are, raw and unfiltered, it terrifies them.